Alright, everybody. We gotta talk about maybe the biggest Glazer video I've ever seen, and that's just going off of the title and thumbnail, man. You see, a little while ago, I've technically made multiple videos, but I think my last one was probably the best. I made a video about Synthetic Man, a right-wing grift YouTuber who is genuinely more degenerate than I think any of the rest. That's right, more degenerate than even the quartering in his basement pissing and cuck fantasies about Gina Carano. This is a guy who, I watched a video that actually broke down, like, everything we know about his personal life, and it's some sad stuff, dude. He's, like, a massive fucking neat loser, and he's a lot like Asmongold, if Asmongold was, like, really right-wing. Asmongold could be 1,000 times worse, I promise you. Asmongold is frustrating and cringe because I actually think he means well and isn't like a grifter or a liar. He's just that stupid. Imagine someone who's like Asmongold, but they're not a well-meaning or fundamentally likable person, in the sense that, like, Asmongold's very, like, self-aware and doesn't have much of an ego, which might surprise you, but he really doesn't. Meanwhile, the synthetic man guy is like that, but if he wasn't self-aware, and if he was also just an awful person about it, like very bitter and awful, that is Synthetic Man. Now, he's also a full-on open Nazi. He JQs, he does white nationalist posting and all that, and I thought about covering him again, but I haven't really felt the impetus to do so until I got this video recommended to me. You see, this is not a Synthetic Man video. This is a Synthetic Man Glazer video. This is a video called Why Synthetic Man Matters. And then he @s Synthetic Man to make sure that Synthetic Man gets a YouTube notification and sees the video and its title. Maximum Glazer shit. I don't know how much we're going to be able to watch of this before we cringe out of our fucking skin, but I figured, who's watching these fucking neckbeard losers who are very much open and unapologetic about being neckbeard losers? Who's watching these people? I assume other neckbeard losers, but let's find out what attracts people to this type of content. Let's see. Why Synthetic Man matters. Why we need Synthetic Man.
Context, depending on when you are watching this video, it was produced roughly 2 weeks after the 2024 presidential election, wherein Orange Man won by a landslide. Naturally, in the wake of his victory, the progressive left were drawn to their same old performative behaviors, resorting to their regular slews of virtue signaling and hypocritical hand-wringing. One such actor, whom I have mentioned before in passing, decided to go full Monty and showcase a very funny-looking doorstop.
Meet my God.
I'm sure you can work with that.
Meet my God. You think I care about your Christian fascism? You think I care about your Christo nationalism? I don't give a f. You don't scare me. You are scared of me. You are worried about me. And you should be. I am going to continue haunting your dreams, you worthless piece of mother. If you think I'm going anywhere, I'm only gonna get worse. If you think I'm gonna stop making things that offend you and piss you off, you have no idea how deviant and degenerate.
So I think this is Dead Domain calling out this YouTuber that we're watching. I guess he's doing the bit where, like, you frame like a progressive calling you out or disagreeing as being triggered or virtue signaling. Something you'll find that is, well, really the core of all conservative content online. It's not about being conservative. It's not about being right-wing or believing in right-wing ideas at its core. It's about being against the left. It's about recognizing the left as an enemy and fighting against them. You can be conservative if you want. The conservative politics can follow. No, like that's not really a concern, though. The goal is to simply convince people the left are a unreasonable, not worth listening to, insane, immoral, whatever list of negative pejoratives you can imagine they try to ascribe to progressivism, to not necessarily argue against its ideas, but to discredit the people who believe in it, and to persuade people not to engage with the arguments. Is this guy trying to get into the grifter space and he's like sucking off Synthetic Man to try and get some attention. Oh.
Things can get.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that?
If you think people like me are going away, that we're gonna stop making your art and your movies and ruining the things you love, you have no idea. We will take everything from you because it was never yours to begin with.
And let me remind you that on YouTube, this person is freely allowed to put on such a performance, while at the same time decries others for their own displays of extremism. In other words, apparently you are free to showcase your reverence for some goat-legged demon thing, but of course you can't say the N-word or use F-slurs.
You're allowed to have religious freedom on YouTube, but you can't say slurs. Remember, guys, we're not dealing with, like, your average, like, mask-on chuds here. We're talking about... these are full-on, upfront Nazi YouTubers. This guy and Synthetic Man.
Slurs, and you can't talk about those...
We just want to say the N-word! Whole video. You could just summarize it with that. He could have just screamed into the mic as loud as possible, I just want to say the N-word, and he would have gotten across the argument at the core of all this perfectly. And in about 5 seconds at that, we would have already been on our way out. We would have been gone, we would have been done with this video, 95 seconds ago.
Damn Nat socks, or even make comedic references about whatever list of people whom YouTube has deemed are too privileged to be joked about.
Cyberbullying. Yeah, you say As Dead Domain's video is a 2 hour, how long is it, like 2.5 hours or something? 2 hour hit piece on me. Yeah, that's not cyberbullying though.
Oh yeah, the Dead Domain video I did watch. It was very, very good. Especially the bits about how much of a fucking neat loser. For those who don't know, NEAT is an acronym. It stands for like something uneducated, unemployed, loser. It basically just means like basement dweller neckbeard. I forget what exactly it stands for. But yeah. He's a massive, massive sad motherfucker. The only thing he's got going for him is the fact that he has a lot of people on the internet that want to hear him just shit-talk minorities online. Yeah, not in education, employment, or training. That's what it stands for, yeah.
I'm going to continue haunting your dreams, you worthless piece of...
Yeah, that's not cyberbullying though.
If you think I'm going anywhere...
That's not cyber... So I think the framing of this is supposed to be like, oh, this person is making like a statement of threat towards these YouTubers, and YouTube is hypocritical because they don't consider this cyberbullying, but they consider saying slurs and being bigoted cyberbullying. Now, this video and what they're saying here is not in response to their existence or their political beliefs. I'm pretty sure this is in the context of being, like, LGBT. Like, we're not going anywhere. Like, we're going to continue to stay around. We're going to exist. We're going to be in your media. Like, saying gay people are not going to disappear and we're not, like, going away is not, like, anywhere equivalent to cyberbullying. But that's how they're framing it. Remember, you couldn't tell from this clip unless you know the, like, way that like people on the left speak. You wouldn't know from this clip the way it's cut that that's the context. But if you, let's be real, if you've been in the left-wing space enough and you hear someone say we're not going to disappear, like that kind of rhetoric in reference to like media or discussions of topics, it's usually someone who's part of a marginalized group referring to that marginalized group not going, like that's clearly the context of what's being said here. Even if you cut it, I can tell at least. I've heard plenty of people on the left speak.
I'm only gonna get worse.
Yeah, that's not cyberbullying though.
You are scared of me. You are worried about me.
True.
And you should be.
Yeah, where's my video on where I'm cyberbullying someone? Oh yeah, it doesn't exist, you silly billies on YouTube. Like, it's like, we took your content down for, you know, harassment, cyberbullying, hate speech, whatever. Okay, what did I say? I don't know. You said it though. I mean, you said it. No, we're not gonna tell you when you said it or what you said, but you said it. Yeah, I mean, if they don't tell you, then it is.
That is true. YouTube does suck about not telling you what you did wrong. Like, YouTube will hit you with a strike falsely. It happens all the time. It's happened to me dozens of times where I've been hit with a false strike. In some cases, even with YouTube claiming I engaged in hate speech, of all things. And I will request a review, and YouTube will double down on the false strike like 10 times, and then on the 12th or 13th or 14th attempt to get YouTube to double check, or I should say 15th time check, they'll say, oh yeah, we came to the conclusion this strike was false. We've reinstated your video and removed the penalty from your channel. This has happened no less than 10 times to my YouTube channel. And of course, in all those 10 times where I was falsely striked, and YouTube would, after many times of saying, no, we know what we're doing, we meant to strike you, they would eventually say they were wrong and admit it. I would never find out what specifically I said or did, or even a timestamp in the video for what I said or did that was why I was getting striked, or my video had been taken down. Even if it was a temporary, ordeal, they don't even come close to telling you. They'll refuse to tell you. Like, they won't do it. YouTube's got this sick little game they like to play where it's like you're instantly fucked and you lose the game being your career, if you break the rules, but you're also cheating and not allowed, like, if you know what the rules are. You're not allowed to know the rules. That's cheating. But if you break them, it's over. Regardless, though, this is literally a completely different situation than that, of course. We know that Synthetic Man was probably striked for anything ranging from harassment and hate and cyberbullying to hate speech. Any number of those things could have been what got him. The YouTube algorithm isn't very... YouTube's moderation algorithm isn't very robust in the sense that, like, if they strike you, they don't strike you for multiple things on one video. They strike you for whatever the needle lands on. And if you request a repeal and they re-review it, they might change the strike reason. If they struck the video for multiple reasons, they might cycle through those reasons. So it might not even be due to cyberbullying. That was just considered to be an ancillary factor there. It could have been a hate speech strike for all we know, because YouTube is just that poor with communication about, like, what you're in trouble for. And in this case, he's in trouble for something he did, but a lot of YouTubers just get false striked all the time. I've had everyone removed from my channel because all of them were false. And YouTube said as much after many, many doubling downs.
Is just censorship then. Yeah, I mean, legitimately. You could say
It's
all of
just
my streams
censorship.
have hate speech in them. Like, basically, if you stretch the definition of hate speech, probably every stream I've done in the past year has hate speech in it. Basically every single one.
YouTube recently flagged one of the Smudcasts for hate speech. This is from episode 153, titled Items in Open World Games Are Boring. It was made on December 27th, 2020. YouTube then had me do a 7-step questionnaire about hate speech, which was very odd, and I have a feeling YouTube doesn't really know what hate speech is. Apparently, if you think people in your opposing political party should be removed from society, that's okay, because that's not a protected group. Does YouTube honestly think kicking people out of society for having differing political views is fine?
It really is just this, like, you have to be retarded or just so ignorant to fall for this stuff. Like, that's what's so scary. It's why the Republicans' main goal is to destroy the education system in this country. They need retards being, like, in the population to fall for this stuff. Like, YouTube thinks it's hate speech to say the N-word, but they don't consider it hate speech to think that Nazis, because you know what they're referring to when they say people who disagree politically. The person, what the person he's probably paraphrasing or strawmanning right now on the left said was that Nazis should be excised from society and banished from it socially. And he is trying, he of course won't say exactly that like, this lefty thinks Nazis should be banished from society. So they frame it as, so it's not hate speech to think certain people should be kicked out of society because of their political beliefs. And of course, obviously, there's so many levels to why this is a stupid argument. Your political beliefs are not an immutable trait that you're born with and can't change. Your political beliefs are not a thing that don't affect anybody, like your identity. In terms of what demographic you fall into, like that you're being black doesn't hurt the people around you, but being a Nazi can hurt the people around you, which is why being bigoted towards Nazis, bigoted quote unquote, is very different than being bigoted towards black people or Asian people or people of a certain race or gay people or whatever, like people who are part of a group where they were born that way and can't change that. Even trans people whose whole thing is that they change can't change that they're trans. Kicked out of society, no, but your probability is going to end up, but you're probably going to end up ostracized. Yeah, but I mean, the argument that he's strawmanning right now is that Nazis should be ostracized from society. He's just strawmanning it.
Fine. If that's not hate speech, then what kind of discrimination would you call that?
Excuse me.
Yes, all praise be to Baphomet. In the long run, this kind of content curation that YouTube has going is not sustainable, and I predict the platform is going to start running into more and more problems down the road when these kinds of biases become more and more apparent. But I...
Really? Really? You think that these are the people who are celebrating Elon Musk's buying of Twitter and think everything is going fine with Twitter, and they think that YouTube is in trouble in terms of the content on their platform? Like, it's also this weird framing of, like, we're the winning side, the right, and thus, because we are the winning side, disagreeing with us makes you the losing side, and the losing side is always wrong. Does anyone disagree with my assessment of their line of logic? They falsely claim that their side is winning culturally, right? And they claim that if their side is winning culturally, then that must mean that they're the correct side, because the good always wins. MAGA won, sadly, therefore they want to attack. I mean, they won the election, but you got to keep in mind, Donald Trump got, like, what, 30% of the U.S. population's votes? Still a very loud minority. And you know that all those people who voted for Trump they weren't like loud and proud MAGA types. They just threw their ballot for Trump out of preference over Kamala. 48%? No. Like, of the total U.S. population, the turnout total isn't high enough for 48% of America to have voted for Trump. So yeah, like, you got to remember, of the MAGA types, it's still very much like, it's still very much a small of the electorate, yeah, but not of the total population of the... Okay, the point that I'm trying to get across to you, it was less than 30%, yeah, less than 30%. Like, the crazy MAGA types are less than 100% of 30% of the country, are significantly less than 100% of 30% of the country. So when these people claim that they're winning culturally, they're really not. They find ways to sanity wash themselves for the normies that then sway enough to get their guy elected. They did it in 2016, and they did it this time again. But you got to remember, more people came out to vote against Trump than any candidate ever in history in 2020 when Biden won. Of course, they have to cope about that and claim that the election was faked and rigged and the votes aren't real. But that's because they cannot engage with the reality, and which evidence shows that they're not the popular side. Because a lot of their arguments are just appeals to popularity, trying to get people to feel like they're going to have FOMO if they don't get on board with this movement of going against the left and fighting the woke and worshiping Trump.
We'll reserve talking in depth about that in another video. This video, however, largely concerns the YouTube channel Synthetic Man. And so in talking about Synthetic Man, allow me to make a proper introduction. So the mark of a true artist is within his ability. Allow me to make a...
The Chudcast. Oh my god. I forgot how cringe this guy's stuff is.
Proper introduction. So the mark of a true artist is within...
Wait, hold on. Oh, we're catching up with them. Oh shit. We're catching up. Damn, it's kind of crazy being 100k subs now. Took a long-ass time, but goddamn. We might start to surpass some of these awful chuds in the coming months. It's looking possible.
Big man, allow me to make a proper introduction. So the mark of a true artist is within his ability to create an image which encapsulates a significant number of ideas all at the same time. As an example, we have the artist known as Stone Toss. And here we have this image, a pink-haired character who represents the progressive left. Stone Toss, significant number of ideas all at the same time.
Wait, what's his point that he's getting at here?
Allow me to make a proper introduction. So the mark of a true artist is within his ability to create an image which encapsulates a significant number of ideas all at the same time.
The true mark of an artist is being able to make a piece that encapsulates a numerous amount of ideas at the same time. And then he uses Stone Toss as an example, who is, of course, a Nazi. Let's take a look.
As an example, we have the artist known as Stone Toss. And here we have this image. A pink-haired character who represents the progressive left is confronting a man wearing the Southern Cross on his ball cap. "Why do you hate black people?" asks the leftist. And in response, the man with the hat announces, "I am racist," to a black woman nearby, leaving her initially shocked. However, as we can see in the final panel, she blushes, clearly infatuated with this display. And here I'll endeavor to explain why the idea this cartoon conveys also tells you everything you need to know about the appeal of the YouTuber Synthetic Man. You see, today we live amidst a sea of performative activism. Performative being the key word there. In a world where it is becoming increasingly difficult to draw the attention of the masses and influence them as one wills, various activists are incentivized to become more and more performative, all as a means of staying relevant and maintaining their influence.
I like how he's just showing Hassan here the whole time. Yeah, I really do think that Hassan, with how awful he is, does give the right a lot of ammo, because if they ever want to make the claim, like, the left are just a bunch of performative, hollow, dishonest, so-and-so, like, go down the list, like, every negative stereotype about the left is true of Hassan, down to the hating America, being pro-terrorism, extremely, dishonest reporting. He misreports all the time. He covers breaking news and, just spreads misinformation because he doesn't have a very high standard for truth when he covers this breaking news. So yeah, it really does suck that, like, if they want to make this claim, and of course Hassan is like a professional virtue signaler as well. It does kind of suck that Hassan kind of fits all those stereotypes, right? So I think the point he's trying to make here is that the left virtue signal not being racist, and that in real life, black people, or I guess black women, find racist white guys attractive. And that the left is just so out of touch that they think that black people hate racist white people, when in reality they want to fuck racist white people, just a show of how out of touch they're... Meanwhile, this is a fictional scenario made up by a white Nazi. A white Nazi making up a scenario and drawing it about black women being attracted to his racism. They create this fiction for themselves. And they talk about how the left is out of touch because they don't agree to live in the fantasy world they've created. God, never seen a video that's so glazy. Ew, please put a T-slur warning next time, please. That is the top comment, is ew, please put a T-slur warning next time, please. Because they were triggered by the appearance of a trans person in the video. Dead domain is proof of spiteful mutant theories, the second top comment. He kicked the hornet's nest, and now normal people have more confidence have had more confidence they've had in years. I appreciate his existence. You don't scare me, quote unquote, as he forgets that he is this is just misgendering, yeah. Remember Synthetic Man went into his stream for 5 seconds and started spamming. If you think we're going to stop ruining the things you love, LMFAO. Yeah, it's just a lot of transphobia in the comments, honestly. I don't even want to read the comments because so many of them are just transphobia. I wonder if they even know what a slur means. They'd know. I think a lot of them know. Because we are dealing with people who are, like, really far right. Jordan is non-binary. I don't even think, like, Dead Domain goes by... like she, her, or he, him pronouns, right? Like they, them, right? So that they're not even they're trying so hard to be transphobic that they're not really good at it, but you know, it happens. They're trained to react. They don't have enough time to think long enough to come up with an accurate own, you know? Like that's what's also kind of frustrating about these people, is that they're trained to see or hear something that triggers them and then to react. And their responses are always so poorly thought out because you know that they just, like, very quickly it popped to mind and they didn't think about it for a second, and they never have. But the fact that it's so wrong is kind of it's kind of like a bonus for them. It kind of makes their arguments more effective in the sense that it triggers the left from its, like, confident statement of being, you know, a wrong confident statement, while also reaching a lot of people and coming off as, like, reasonable. I don't know. Man, I guess that's why people fall for this stuff. If you guys were wondering, like, how do people fall for this kind of stuff, I feel like this is one of the best showcases of why people dick ride these absolute losers. They see them as like actual heroes or artists or talented individuals. Even when they're blatantly like just massive talentless losers, they see them as heroes, god kings even. Really is depressing stuff and low-key kind of gay, but you know, it's not my business, I suppose. They think they're gods? Yeah, they do. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it enjoyable, entertaining, or perhaps even educational, then please consider leaving a like and a comment. Every single thumbs up and comment goes a real long way to push my content in the algorithm and get it in front of more people, so I really do appreciate it. Every single one of you who goes out of your way to do that, it really, really means a lot. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video on my channel. And of course, if you haven't already, consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description. You can follow my Social Blade, my what's it called? My Discord, my Blue Sky. I highly recommend you follow me there. That's where I'm most active, but I also have an Instagram and a Twitter where I'm less active. Hope to see you guys around there. And of course, finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, you can afford it, and you want to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall Studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, gifting a sub on my website, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Streamelements, Patreon, or buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching as always, and have a good one.